Is Edelgard toxic again? This is the question that's been on our minds since this unit got announced. We all thought she was in Refine jail, but not quite. Let's go over all of these units though. I'm going to talk about builds, where they land as far as their stat comparisons, how much damage they can do, and how much support. But I need to know, who are you most excited about? Leave it in the comments. I would love to hear it there. Let's get into Edelgard first.
I am absolute.
I have thought about skipping this slide altogether because anytime I show these now, it's just a wall of text. But it's worth seeing how much text is the original kit versus the Refine. That is kind of a big deal. It's also worth looking at preference weapons, and this is the only unit in this batch with one, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to be using this. There are a lot of better skills now, and you're pretty much going to be ignoring that. The other thing we can really look at is zooming in on the base stats and what this unit comes with. Like most Refines, you're going to be gutting this unit completely, so just keep that in mind. But you notice how the stats are laid out. This is a low speed unit with relatively high attack and balanced defense and res. That is something we can build with, and we know we're not going to be focusing on speed. Let's look at the Refine specifically though. So this is the summary chart of all of this. We have slaying, HP plus 3. At start of turn, if HP is greater than 25%, you inflict attack defense -7 on closest foes and foes within 2 spaces, and you inflict panic and exposure. What I wanted to see out of this, if we wanted, the return to terror status, was a mid-turn, like after an action, I wanted to see panic and exposure and the debuffs. That really would have pushed this unit over the top and made this unit very, very usable. As is, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by that portion. It's okay, but we still have a lot of cleansing, and it seems like we have more and more cleansing as things go on. Past that, we have the Beast Transformation Clause, which you get attack +2 and enables DC. Start of combat, if HP is greater than 25%, you inflict attack defense -6 on foe. Neutralizes units' attack defense penalties, which is good. True damage equals 20% of defense, which we want true damage as much as possible. And prevent unit and foe follow-ups. If foe within 3x3 centered area, attack defense -12 on foes in that area, which we're starting to get up into a pretty big, like -18 to attack and defense is nice. And then you get a damage reduction of 20% of defense. That's flat DR. So we've got flat DR, true damage. We have the bare minimum of what a unit needs right now, but keep in mind we do get another action. So the question is, can we use skills that are out right now to get the true damage up enough? I have 2 different build suggestions here. Basically, one is a nuke and one is a tank. So, Twin Crest Power, obviously you're going to keep that. We have Reposition Gate, Sturdy Beast. I like these beast skills a lot. I think this is nice. They give you damage reduction for both ranged and melee, and I think they work well with this unit. We'll see that a little more later. Sly Sturdy Blow for the nuke build is excellent. Assault Fighter is a lot of fun on this unit. This is a maximized build for both of these. I'll talk about how to go more cheaply in just a bit. The last thing here, and I want you to pay close attention to this, is this Briar Near Save. And the thing that you want to remember that Briar Near Save has that is incredibly valuable is that reflective damage. That is a thing that can come in very, very handy. You notice I don't have anything to help with Beast Transformation. I do have the Beast Seal there. So I don't know that in this meta the extra stats do you just that much good, so I don't think this is that much of a hit. But there are possibly other things you could do positioning-wise to help her with that. Overall, though, I think that does make her easy to use. I've got kind of a stock team here that I've been using as my baseline for a lot of stuff. This is in light season. You notice, weirdly, I have the other Edelgard there. Essentially, what I am doing is having some unit that can provide exposure in that capacity in that slot. That doesn't have to be Edelgard specifically. Also, if you have a bonus unit that is one of these mythics, you can have some other support there as well, and there are lots of good ones. So that's that's where we're at. This unit can hit relatively hard, and we're going to talk more about this unit as we go on. First, let's talk about the tank build, though. I have got this unit in Arena because I think that's where you'll be able to use this unit. You need to be something special in order to be able to be used on AR defense and AR offense for that matter. That you really need a lot of fun things. If you wanted to use this unit in Arena, because I know a lot of you have this unit as +10, lower ground stopping warping is incredibly valuable. Slick Fighter is here. For Arena, you might actually want to go Wily Fighter. I am torn right now. I'm seeing less debuffs, but they are still out there. So sometimes this comes into what flavor you would like. There's also Counter Fighter that comes from BK. It really depends on what your mood is. For my money, I like Slick Fighter a little better on this unit right now, but know that there are good options, and I don't know if anyone wants to fodder away BK right now. That would be a tough sell. Again, I've got Sturdy Beast on there, and Attack Defense Fortune ensures that you're always going to be transformed. The thing you'll see there, I have Erica, and the way most tanks function right now is when you attack into them, you want them to be able to attack back twice and kill. Because if you allow the nukes right now in this meta to attack you a lot of times, they are most likely going to smash you. There are a lot of very, very good nukes at the top right now, and we're seeing them regularly. So keep that in mind. This does assume that you have some kind of mobility enhancer on your team that helps with either warping or just getting this unit from one place to another with something like Reposition Gate. So keep that in mind. That might mean in the end you might need something that's not Erica Ring, and for Arena you need Celica Ring. So that is something that you may look at as you go. Now, I'm going to go back and we're going to really focus in on this ARO build. There's a couple reasons why. I think this gives you a good baseline as to what this unit looks like compared to other units. Before we get into stat analysis, I want to talk about stickers. We're giving away a free sticker with every purchase right now, and I love stickers. I love putting them everywhere. We have a lot of fun designs that I'm showing up here right now. If you put in the code and put one in your cart, it automatically takes it off the price. Go check that out. We really do have a lot of fun stuff in the store. I've been slowly refining this. Now, it's very important to note that this is different than what I'm going to be showing in my reactions. My reactions, I want those based on the base kit. There's a couple reasons for that. I think it's a better apples to apples comparison for those units. For this, I want to see what the entire team is doing because I think that's an important thing. So we went a long way around there. You'll notice the true damage is a bit low for this unit, and I'm a little disappointed there. I was hoping that could be higher. And you remember that the kit there had Slice, Dirty Blow, and you know, Assault Fighter had true damage in there, and of course Twin Crest Power. But I still couldn't get her past 21. You can do better if you have support elsewhere, and I did not include the 10 exposure from Edelgard as well. In general, though, for what this unit is, I would have liked her more in the green area, which is past that 38. I'm finding that to be a bit of a threshold where the ability for a unit to be functional as a nuke really reflects higher on you if you can get past that. There are units that are special that can do it, but most of the time I like them to be over that threshold. We do have a lot of boost damage, and what's happening there is we have Sturdy Beast, but we also have the reflective damage from the Briar weapon. There's a lot that depends on how that goes, and this unit has to survive another hit. But the fact that this unit has 33 flat DR with this kit means that I think this unit has that ability. You'll also notice that the 33 flat DR is why I think the build that you have as a tank in Arena can work. That is fairly high, and this is a unit that against a lot of the melee nukes can actually do some good. Although I will say melee nukes right now are just ridiculous, so that is still a tough sell, but I think this unit can do it. So you've seen where this unit sits on average compared to others that are more or less successful. when you're looking at this unit and what you need and what you don't need, I do like Sturdy Beast, but if you have Armored Blaze, I think it's going to work just as fine. And I think there are a lot of the armored skills that can help you out here, and you don't necessarily need that. Sturdy Beast is still kind of hard to get. If we're looking at AR Briar Near Save, that is probably more of a necessity. There is a case to be made for something like Preempt Screech, but some of the beast skills, they don't really give you enough damage. And the fact that I could get reflective damage out of that was something that was very, very nice. We talked about the fighter skills. I think Assault Fighter for what you're trying to do is just the way to go. On a side note, I really wanted to put Assault Rush on there, and I completely forgot that is locked away from beast units. So just keep that in mind. So, but big high level here. The thing that you really want is some sort of damaging special that also has DR, and there's a few of those. I like Slice Sturdy Blow, but that is only 5 true damage. That's not a huge amount. Assault Fighter, in my mind, is one of the better skills you can get on this unit, and I think Briar Save, the combination of those two, I think really make this unit tick and are something that you would want to look at very carefully for things going forward. We did show on the tank build Lower Ground, the fact that you can stop warping is incredibly valuable, but if you find yourself not having enough oomph, again, that Briar Near Save is very good. Problem is, right now it's easier to find Lower Ground than it is to find Briar Near Save. This is a very expensive kit, but if you're an Edelgard fan, I think this is the way to go.
You'll go no further.
I know all you Palla fans are excited about this one. This is actually kind of interesting. I had forgotten how sparse her base weapon was until I think it was about a month ago. I had pulled her back out from one of the limited hero battles, and there's not a lot there. This was from a time when Dual Phase Brave was all you needed, and yeah, I mean, it's just not that way anymore. You absolutely have to have lots and lots of true damage, and we have the Erica ring as well. So that is that's the meta we're in right now. This is built very similarly to Edelgard with the medium-high attack, the low speed, and the balanced defense and res. So there are lots of things we can do with this, lots of things we can work with. We're looking at the Refine specifically. You have Canto 2, which was already there. The Brave effect, the adaptive damage, true damage equal to 20% of the defense, and that includes AoEs. That is a lot of fun, and there are some things we're going to do with that. We also get grants attack defense res +5 and inflict speed -5. That is, it is what it is. So to start of turn, if within 2 spaces of an ally, you grant attack defense +6 to unit and allies, grants null penalties to unit and allies, and grants +1 movement to unit and flying allies, and that does not stack. That's kind of nice. There are some really, really interesting things about this anyway, start of combat, if within 3 spaces of an ally, bonus equals 10% defense +5 to attack defense res, and you get damage reduction of 20% of defense, which is flat DR and 7 HP healing post-combat. You'll notice these are less things than what we had for Edelgard, but I think these are very focused in a way that wasn't. And I like where this is going. Let's look at some suggested builds and places where I'm going with this. Essentially, I have one of 2 ways that I'm looking at using this unit. The first is in Aetheray's offense, and I have been looking at this. This to me is the go-to build for melee flyers right now. Trample giving out essentially desperation is really, really nice. That is incredibly powerful, especially with the Brave effect. I know there are ways around that, but the Hardy Bearing Seal isn't as prevalent in the melee counters that we have right now. And I haven't seen BK as a near save yet, although that is likely to be coming. Haze Slice is not as good because this unit doesn't have slaying, but I did put Marth Ring on there to compensate for that. Past that, we've got Trample that we talked about. Potent Assault is probably the best B skill for melee nukes right now that can equip it. So that's anyone but, infantry and armors. It is amazing and provides a lot of the things you need, including piercing and tons of hits and true damage. It's incredibly good. And then SD Hold Guide, there is a case to be made for this to be overkill because this unit does have extra movement, but I really like Hold Guide and its functionality. It is a neat thing to do. If you are going with something else, I would go with Deadly Miasma. That actually gets a lot of killing power out of it that people kind of underrate. So that is something that you could go with instead of this. We'll talk about how this unit ranks stat-wise in just a second. For the Arena Assault build, this is just your standard AoE build, but because you get that extra damage from the defense, that is, I mean, that's nice. You're clopping on an extra 8 damage to that on top of everything else, which is fantastic. So this unit is going to hit with an AoE, and then it's going to hit 2 more times. It's tough to complain about that. That's very, very nice. And these are definitely 2 different ways you can go. We are going to focus in more on the ARO build, and let's look at the stats right now. For this kit, you're getting a whopping 45 true damage. That's really nice. That's more than Erica gets. Erica has some other things, obviously, that make her good, but that is, I mean, keep in mind, especially with that trample build, a lot of times you're hitting that 4 times. This unit's going to hit hard. The boost damage it's a little bit lower, but that is the way I would rather see it. I would rather see higher true damage and lower boost damage. There is a whole essay I have on that. I have an entire video you can go look at, and I'll probably leave a link to that at the end. The flat DR is low. Keep in mind though, that is a measure of how well you tank. And this unit at this point in its life it has a little bit of survivability, and 20 isn't bad, but for the most part, you're going to try to get off as many hits as possible. And I think this shows that this unit can do that fairly well. Let's go back and look at the kit though. So this is again that trample kit. I really, really like this one. This is expensive, I know. I'm showing you guys expensive things here. Things that you must have on this, and I've looked at these a lot. The 2 pieces that are so critical are Trample and Potent Assault. Ways that you can get around Trample, because it's on 1 unit and it's on a very good unit. If you can get Desperation otherwise, then you can easily get away with Sly Sturdy, or even Blue Skies on this unit is something that you can do. Obviously, Blue Skies is expensive as well, but Sly Sturdy isn't quite as bad. Any of the Sly skills, really. Keep in mind, since this unit is going to try to hit 4 times in a row, you're not really looking to have anything you're holding back. But that Potent Assault, it's really important. Assault Force is a downgrade. It is a slight downgrade, though, and so it is absolutely something you can do with this unit. It just depends on what you've got. But those are important. Particularly that B skill is so important. Assault Force or Potent Assault is going to be critical to make this unit work the way you want to. The fact that Potent Assault was on a banner that just everyone didn't like is unfortunate, but also it's still up, and if you wanted to grab that sell-off on there, you probably haven't sparked on it yet, so, I mean, there you go. I have some showcases to show you for what Potent Assault really does, and it's just fantastic. That is the thing that you're going to need if you want this unit to work well, though.
Almost nap time.
New Year's Velouria was one of my favorites when she came out. Conquest in the Discord had a whole setup that we kind of pioneered, where we had her paired with Henrietta and just absolutely demolished things with this unit as a frontliner. And I mean, this was back when Special Acceleration was really good. That's obviously those days have long passed. We have everything else under the sun, but I am glad to see this amount of text, and goodness, that is, I had to shrink the font down. Again though, I wanted to look at the stats there. You'll see this unit has low res, medium defense, medium speed, and higher attack. I mean, it's been a little bit since this unit came out, so we're not going to see elite values on any of those, and obviously the entire kit needs to be changed. I've got some interesting stuff here. Let's go over what exactly is in the Refine and why I think this is good. So we have Slaying. If you transform, we get attack +2, +7 damage when special triggers. that has become better than it once was. And then we have tempo. Now this is where things get a little more interesting. So ally support, this is within 3 spaces of support partner or highest defensive ally. I don't know why they kept that so tight, but they did. You get attack speed defense +5, cooldown +1 per attack, which is special acceleration, preempt pulse +2. That's a lot. This unit is going to really help units proc specials. If you look at someone like Black Knight, that is the thing that you need, 100%. The enemy of Black Knight is anyone with special inhibitors or anyone who has enough scowl to keep that special from proccing. This unit is actually might be kind of nice with BK, so that is something for you BK fans to think about if you don't have another way to do that. But preempt pulse +2 is pretty interesting, and we have 100% piercing. That's not bad support. It's not going to carry this unit as a supportive unit itself, but I'll show you how this unit stacks up and kind of make the case for this also being a melee frontliner. Combat effects: if ally within 3 spaces, inflicts attack speed -6 and defense -5. You get cooldown +1 per attack, preempt pulse, special piercing, and then at the start of combat, if HP is greater than 25%, you get penalty equals attack speed, defense -11 on the foe, dull attack speed, which is nice, true damage of 20% of speed, and flat DR of 20% of speed. So we talked about having the right things. This has the right things, and it's got a lot of them. I really like this refine. Palla's is more directed specifically. This has an interesting mix of nuke, tank, and support that I think can really be utilized. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I've got 2 things here. The first is really interesting. This is an AR nuke, and keep in mind, because of the way this unit works and the way they help out their partner, you can have units proccing specials a lot more. Obviously, Gale Force has changed shape such that we don't actually use Gale Force anymore, but Gale Force units do need to hit hard, and that can be helped by this just a ton. I'll point this out in just a second. So let's just go over the kit for the AR frontliner, and we'll come back to what this nuke is. The frontliner, I don't have the supports and all of that, but this is so Nimble Beast. Attack speed fortune to make sure this unit stays, converted. Lagoo's Friend 4, which I still think is a very nice B skill, although Lagoo's loyalty is something you could look at depending on what units you're going up against. And Preempt Screech. I like Preempt Screech there, but it's not optimal. And overall, I feel like this frontliner build is lacking something. It's why I didn't dig too deeply into that. It's got a lot of pieces that are almost there. I'm also going to make a correction here live. I don't have time to actually go in and fix the template here. Nimble Beast isn't going to work well with Lagoo's Run 4 because it's only 3 cooldown, and this unit does have Slaying. They tricked me by having too many units on this banner on this refined batch that didn't have Slaying. The way to go with that is going to be Astra as opposed to Nimble Beast in that slot. I have seen just a ton of great things out of Astra. There are things that I like about Nimble Beast that in this other kit that I would prefer over Astra, but I think for this, and particularly in combination with Lagoo's Run 4, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. Apologies on missing that. Let's go to the AR nuke build because I really kind of focused in on this one. So the combination here, I mean, you're getting some kind of benefit from a lot of this. Nimble Beast, Sly Swift Sparrow, Speed Taker 4. This is Endless Tempest. I like a lot, and I think I prefer that just because of the mobility that you really need out of nukes. But I would be tempted to put Preempt Screech on there. The problem is, again, it's so rare. Endless Tempest you can get out of a unit that just falls out of the sky, which is nice. Sometimes Felix just ends up there, and that's good. Speed Taker is also on a lot of units as well as Sly Swift Sparrow. This is a kit that you could have put together in your barracks. And I'm going to show you the stats. I am really a fan of this. Okay, I love these are 2 greens in a row. True damage of 52 is very high. And I mean, we are just doubling down with every bit of this kit, so that makes sense, but still, I like in combination with what this unit wants to do and having this unit as a player phase support, which on first glance I did not think of with this unit, but you combine that with a boosted damage of 61, which is coming from Nimble Beast, and keep in mind you're going to be able to easily proc a lot of specials with the way this unit functions. This unit is really fun. I didn't discuss it, but I did have Erica Ring on this unit. I think this unit can really do some damage, and there's, the SD folks are going to shoot me for this, but there's even a possibility you could get some SD use out of this. Those are very good numbers. So just keep that in mind and be on the lookout for this unit. I think this unit can really do some damage. Let's go back and look at the kit. The key pieces to this, Nimble Beast is so expensive. We just talked about Astra working though, and I really do think it does, especially with the way everything in this kit works, trying to make it easier for you to proc specials and specials and specials. That's something that this unit really wants you to be able to do. So if you needed to go cheap, Astra is definitely there for you. Slice with Sparrow, there's a joke in the Discord that is just the thing I want in every unit, and I mean, they're not wrong. I've got a new video coming out that actually has me using it very seldomly, but I think I'm going to call it budget. The only reason I call it budget is because compared to a lot of the other skills I like there, it only has one inheritance slot that it takes up, and it's on more and more units. So I like it. I like it a lot, and I think it's more available than a lot of other choices. Speed Taker 4 is probably what makes this tick, though. The combination of Renewed Fang and Speed Taker 4, I think, is going to do very, very well with this. On a side note, those finish skills, take advantage of those. Don't forget that you have to be within 3 spaces of another unit, but you get extra true damage as well as attack speed. I'm putting it on almost every infantry build I have right now, and it has really saved me a couple times. But the big point, Speed Taker 4 is probably the thing that makes this tick. There are options otherwise when you look at these other pieces. I do like the Erica Ring on there. Try not to get rid of that. But I'm really happy with this Refine. I think this unit has a definite place that you can use her right now.
See if you can match me.
Erk is the man with the book. I mean, that's just, that is a lot. We'll talk about why I like this and what's neat about this. In general, I like seeing 4-star units get stuff like this, though. This is neat. Real quickly, though, when we look at the stats, this unit doesn't have a lot. The nice thing is this is an older unit, so we can put tons of flowers, and merges are easy to get. We can boost that up. The problem with that is it makes it, you don't really get to choose where those go. Those are, it's like paint. You get to put a flat coat over this entire thing and boost the floor of this unit. When we look for the way units are used right now, we really want to increase the ceiling, not the floor. But I mean, we'll take it, right? It's better than nothing. And Erk fans has got to be really happy about this. Let's talk about what this Refine means, though. General to be. Okay, there's some key things about this. So, start of turn to unit and allies within 2 that are magic and staff. You get attack speed +6, null follow-up, treachery, and canto. The thing that you want to pay attention to is treachery. And honestly, treachery is very, very good right now because true damage. That's what it is. But all these other things are really nice too, and it's nice to be able to get these all from one unit. That is a lot of effects. The other things this unit does, if you initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, you get burn damage of 7, you get an Omni +5, you get dull speed res, you get true damage of 20% speed, you get 50% DR piercing, and you get flat DR of 7 on first attack, which is kind of stingy, but we'll take it. If unit initiates combat, you apply Divine Vein Flame in a line after combat. So there's some additional burn damage there as well. I mean, this is good. I don't want to quash folks that are just going nuts over this. This is not Seteth. Okay? I'm not saying this is not good. This is very, very good, especially for a 4-star. This is not going to change the meta, though. Seteth was a unit that, as a 4-star, really became a mainstay on so many things. If you want to use Erk, this is going to make him usable. And that is saying something, because that is harder and harder to do right now. But this is not something that's going to make this unit stand out above all others, regardless of everything else. So keep that in mind. But I want to look at this because there's some neat stuff here. So we got 2 builds here. Let's go over the tank build. The tank build is pure fun, and only if you want to do it. I don't know that this is really usable for anything but PvE. But still, if you want to put C bonus doubler and Legoo's Friend 4 on this unit, along with something like Breath of Life, I think you're going to have fun, and there are definitely places where that is a good time. There's also a lot of support you can put around this unit, but you're not going to be doing anything meta with that. But I know a lot of you folks like to do this with units, and for good reason. I mean, PvE is fun, and that's just plain and simple. This other build, though, is a little more interesting. So this is kind of a hybrid support nuke, which we've gotten a lot of recently. There's already a lot of effects that this unit is handing out, though. And adding on to that, we have Reposition Gate. We have Frost Moon, which I like a whole lot, even though this unit does have higher speed. That this is, of course, summoner supported, and 25 flowers and plus 10, and you get a speed of 59. It's not bad, but I've really gone and tried to up the res here. So that's why I have Slime Mirror on here. Attack Res Havoc. Using that with 48 res is okay. It's not the most amazing thing, but again, I'm kind of trying for a hybrid here. Time Pulse Helm is nice because it lets you proc Frost Moon easier. I ran across that in a recent Hall of Forms, and I kind of fell in love with it because Frost Moon, when it hits, does hit very hard. The last thing I have there is Stillwater 3 to kind of boost up the res. This is a fun build, and I like this. The neat thing about this is it's easy to make budget, and we'll talk about that in the budget section here in just a bit. Let's talk about the stats and where this unit lies. And this is why I like this unit. I'm not just over the moon, though. That 38 true damage is a little lacking, and I just had trouble getting enough out of this unit. I really wanted him to be more into the green. And again, this is me wanting him to be the best unit ever and going to just rock the world as a 4-star. So 38 true damage is still really good. If you look under there, that's what Erica gets. And so this is very good. The boost damage is also good, and a lot of that is boosted by Frost Moon, but that's still very good, and I like the way this unit works. The combination of those two means this unit is going to hit pretty hard. I do worry about the number of hits this unit is going to get on a unit, but as a cleanup unit and support, I think this unit can be very, very usable. The flat DR of 7 means you are just not surviving hits. This unit passed miracle support, and you will need that. You really want to double down on your boosted damage and true damage for this unit. This unit isn't really going to be someone who naturally has tanking ability, which is why we had to do Legoo's Friend 4 and all of that fun stuff on him before. Let's look at how this unit does budget-wise. Here's the thing about this is if you want to go on a budget, none of this is necessary. This unit will naturally hit pretty hard. If I am focusing, though, I do like Time Pulse Helm and Frost Moon, but Frost Moon can be replaced with something like Glacies. And anything that boosts damage like that. We already talked about Astra. Astra, along with his true damage, would also be very good. You don't need Frost Moon. Frost Moon just has some special things about it, and if you're looking for absolute premium, that's what you're going to get. But if you were to have this unit as Astra, Time Pulse Helm, or even any kind of thing that helps you get that cooldown regularly down, I think that would help. I like Time Pulse Helm because I think it does it the best right now. Attack Res Havoc is probably the next thing I would want on this unit, and I think it is incredibly nice just because it has both true damage and support. I would like a little more res on this unit, but I think this unit can handle that, and this is an absolute premium kit for a unit that already has a very nice weapon. So just keep that in mind. But I think this is a lot of fun and someone you can use. You'll notice this is with a Lin ring, so this unit is meant to be, all the way back and sniping things. And so even if you wanted to put this unit with a tanking team, keep in mind damage is very, very important on tanking teams. And I meant to mention this, but there's one Achilles heel to treachery, and that is lull. And I mean, lull is out there, and lull skills are out there, and it's being handed out more and more. So you've got to be careful with that, but it's still really nice. I mean, I'm a fan of this unit. I know I kind of poo-pooed him earlier, but I don't want you to think that this is the second coming. This is just a very good unit that I think you can have a lot of fun with.
I cannot look away.
The last unit that I have here is Pelleas, and I like this unit. The miracle in this unit's kit is nice, and they're trying to be able to make you be able to loop it. I feel like they gave some stuff up in order to give this unit miracle, so I'm a little less high on this unit than the others, and this has been a fairly good batch. So we'll talk about how to use this one. One more thing on the kit there, you can see we definitely have lower speed. We do have decent res, and we're going to boost that up in just a second, where you're going to see where that ends up. But let's talk about Vision of Dane. So at start of turn, if unit was within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack res +6, special cooldown +1, and warping, and that is the the super warp, where if a unit was in 2 spaces, you get to go 2 spaces from them. Combat effects, if within 3 spaces of an ally, you get an Omni +10, which is nice. You get a penalty null for attack speed. You get a guaranteed follow-up. You get true damage equals 15% of attack. We really wanted that to be 20, but sometimes we'll take what we can get. 7 HP heal on hit, and then miracle, and that's 1 use per combat. So what are we going to do with this unit? And I mean, you'll notice some big similarities in what we just looked at with Erk. So, I mean, let's look at the support thing first. I don't have this unit as a tank. For me, what I would be doing with that miracle support is I would probably be holding back and using this unit with the Lin ring. We'll talk about in the AR nuke build. For this pure support build, I am basically using this unit to soak up damage at the very end, have this unit as someone who, lets you run around and get pots or something like that. And in the meantime, you have attack res havoc and infantry null follow-up or some other supportive skill in that C, and you get to have fun with that. I don't talk too much about this past, so I will say if you're looking at absolute necessities for this, I mean, there are none. Just whatever you have as a supportive C skill, and you already have a lot of supported B skills in your barracks. Whatever you want to put on there, sabotage, infantry null follow-up is obviously my favorite because I have so many units that utilize that, but there's a lot of fun things you can do with that to make this unit just a pure support res tank. The problem with that is a luxury item, and more and more I'm leaning towards the AR nuke. Now, if you'll notice from the last one, the thing that I did differently there is that occultist strike versus the attack res havoc. You can do either one of those with both of these folks. This is going to probably kill more things than the other one. The other one is kind of that hybrid role. Whatever you want to swap, I think you'll have a good time with it. Ice Wall is fun. I probably prefer Frost Moon, just to be completely honest, but having this unit get some extra survivability is nice. Possibly be able to survive a hit so that when the enemy hits you back twice, you have, still HP after the first one. Your miracle takes into effect on the second one. Occultist Strike is for your tome nukes. It's honestly the best way to get damage out right now, which is kind of crazy. We've seen melee units have so many new things, and we just haven't seen as many of them for your ranged magical units. I am expecting that to change at some point. I just don't know when. It's not one of those things that I'm feeling coming on, tomorrow, but will likely happen someday. When that happens, units like this will get better. Overall, though, I had a harder time making this unit special compared to his counterparts. Looking at where this unit sits, the true damage, it's a little low, but we do have higher boost damage. So we've talked about that. I usually prefer that to be in the opposite order, but with 59 boost damage, you can come up with some things. You can get some things done. So that is nice. Flat DR of 0, and just doesn't have anything built in the kit and has Miracle instead. So that's really where you're supposed to go. Overall there, you can see where this unit ranks. This unit is going to have a little harder time functioning than someone like Erk, who I think has some really special things about him. Looking at we talked about the budget pieces to this. The hard part with this is the way this unit works. You're trying to cram everything out of him. You're going to have to do something to this level to really get any kind of killing power out of him. I don't love that, but that is where you're at with this unit and how this unit works. So I keep that in mind. I don't love that I'm telling you that there's not really a cheap way to build this unit, but there's not really a cheap way to build this unit. If you're going to PvE, obviously there's some different things you can do. Occultist Strike isn't all that expensive, but you're really gonna have to focus in on both Occultist Strike and something like Time's Pulse Helm to really get specials procced as many times as possible, and that's just where we're at. If you're interested more on how to deal damage, that was an episode I did a little while back, but it still really holds up and has been where the meta's at right now. Go check that out. Members, you are amazing. Thank you for all you do for the channel. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.